This is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, March 9th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.40 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,315 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $25, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,964. Antiwar.com reports President Trump has announced that an offer conveyed to the United States from North Korea by way of South Korea's visiting delegation, initially speculated to be a proposal for direct talks, is almost beyond that and stands to be one of the most significant diplomatic proposals in decades. The offer was announced publicly by South Korea's National Security Advisor. North Korea is inviting President Trump to directly meet with Kim Jong-un, with the two talking about North Korea disarming its nuclear program. North Korea added that they would pause nuclear and missile development during the talks. South Korea's delegation of high-ranking officials visiting Pyongyang earlier this week was an historic move. A meeting between Trump and Kim would be far, far more important, which could reasonably be called the biggest diplomatic measure on North Korea since the Korean War. President Trump was calling this Thursday revelation a major announcement, and President Trump says his intention is to meet Kim by May, which would be quite a rapid turnaround for such a high-profile meeting. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. UPI reports an outbreak of salmonella cases in 7 states linked to chicken salad has expanded to include 170 people, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. An additional 105 people from a total of 6 states fell ill after likely purchasing and consuming contaminated chicken salad before it was recalled. A total of 62 people between the ages of 7 and 89 have been hospitalized, and no deaths have been reported. The CDC said that illnesses that occurred after February 12th might not be reported, as public health agencies receive reports on salmonella illnesses 2 to 4 weeks after the illness starts. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports Los Angeles prosecutors said on Thursday they would not charge a former police officer in the 2015 shooting death of an unarmed man, despite a call by the city's police chief to do so. The former officer, Clifford Proctor, may have believed the 29-year-old man he shot was reaching for his partner's weapon during a struggle outside a bar, according to Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office in a report outlining the decision. The LA County District Attorney Jackie Lacey said in a statement that accompanied the 83-page report, prosecutors cannot ethically charge a person with a crime if they do not believe a jury would convict that person of that crime. Los Angeles Police Chief Charlie Beck called for the charges to be filed against Proctor in January 2016, the first time Beck had recommended prosecuting one of his officers for an on-duty shooting death. But prosecutors said Beck's recommendation did not factor into their decision. The May 5th, 2015 shooting of Brendan Glenn in the beachside neighborhood of Venice followed a series of killings of unarmed minorities by police that put law enforcement agencies across the United States under scrutiny over the use of lethal force. Along with the report, the LA County District Attorney's Office released surveillance video on Thursday that showed the shooting and the tense moments leading up to it. Proctor and another officer saw Glenn fighting a man outside the bar where he worked as a bouncer. The officers intervened, wrestled Glenn to the ground. He pushed himself up. The video showed Proctor firing 2 rounds at Glenn after he wrapped his arms around the other officer's leg. Even if Glenn was not reaching for the officer's gun, the report said Proctor may have reasonably feared that he was. Glenn's family received a $4 million legal settlement in December 2016 from the city over his death. Attorney V. James DeSimone, who represents the Glenn family, said in a phone interview, "If an officer can't be prosecuted in this case, when will the district attorney in Los Angeles prosecute the police?" This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
If you live in Williamsburg, chances are good you've seen them. Giant piles of beard hair rotting in the streets. Don't worry, it just means hipster molting season is here again. Experts say the husks of dead beards don't pose a threat to public safety and are just part of the natural life cycle of these strange organisms.
Once a year, all at the same time, every 20-something urban male sheds his ironic beard to make room for larger, more fanciful facial hair. They need the beards. They're a tough exoskeleton that protects these young people from the non-whimsical realities of life.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service says it's the largest molting season on record. In Brooklyn, sanitation crews are working overtime to clean up the loose whiskers the exuviating males have left behind. The affected youth's molting season comes right before their mating season, when the males use their lush beards to impress the local hordes of burlesque females.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We'll give you the toll-free call-in line here momentarily where you can call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. And, of course, we have brought things to the table as well. Will later is going to tell us about Bernie Sanders being a communist.
What?
I know,
What?
surprise. But apparently, who was it?
The New York Post
has said what libertarians have known for a long time. In studio, it's Darryl.
And Conan.
And Will.
And Conan, it's been a long time since you've been on these airwaves.
Been a couple of months.
And you've got an article here where it's a claim by someone that public schools themselves incubate mental instability in children.
Yeah, this is by Stella Morabito. It's over at thefederalist.com. And it's more of a list than it is a article.
Is this a study? Did she do a study, or she just sort of wrote down her opinions?
They are most definitely opinions. She does link to some other articles that actually discuss some of these bullet points on this list, which I didn't get to because I was engrossed in the this actual list right here. But let me go ahead and read the introduction, and then we can. Yeah. I don't want to read every single paragraph from the list, but we can definitely stop me when you're ready, and we'll discuss. Why doesn't anyone investigate the toxic effects of today's bureaucrat-run mega schools in the wake of school shooting? It's high time we place a share of the blame there. Apologists for these noxious systems continue to shift blame for their failures using the media, various left-wing lobbies, and kids themselves as programmed mouthpieces for statist agendas like gun control. Meanwhile, they keep feeding the beast by mass institutionalizing kids.
All right, so let's pause there. And whenever I hear a question of why doesn't anyone fill in the blank, well, it seems as though she's trying to, which means that someone is.
Mm-hmm.
So the question isn't why doesn't anyone fill in the blank? The question is, why do people not pay attention when fill in the blank? And then there are going to be millions of reasons, because I know I've got other things to do than read every article that gets posted on the internet ever.
This is true. There's a lot of them, and there's lots of kitty memes that you want to look at as well. I mean, you got to balance. Would you want to know what's going on? Are you gonna have to look through what is opinion and what is actual facts, and then kitty memes? I mean, come on now. Or Bernie Sanders is a, what is he?
Communist. Bernie Sanders is a communist.
He's not a democratic socialist?
No, according to the New York Post, the title is he's a communist. So yeah, things that we already knew, and kitten memes, and well, probably there's usually some kind of like outrage porn mixed in somewhere. Mm-hmm. So like, you know, like dead Syrian kids
that the word porn is used to describe things other than pornography.
I don't.
Well, because people get off on it.
Whatever anyone gets off on, that's porn.
Yeah. So like some people get off on looking like they get their social justice moral outrage out of looking like and purposefully subject themselves to like videos of children drowned on like the beaches of Europe. And so like I can't look at that stuff, man.
Nor can I, but
it burns itself into your psyche, I think.
I'm also thinking of like hate listeners, people who will listen to a show that they can't stand the host, they can't stand the topics,
but they like to yell at the radio.
Right, but nobody refers to that as radio porn. But people refer to pictures of food as food porn.
Because I kind of get off on it. I love food.
The correlation between public school environments and the deteriorating mental health of children has been intensifying for decades. We ought to consider how these settings serve as incubators for the social alienation that can fuel such horrors. First, consider how common it is for public high school today to house thousands of teenagers for most of their waking hours for 4 solid years. More than 3,000 students attended the Florida school where the most recent shooting took place.
All right.
During their time in that maze, kids learn to socialize basically by finding their place in a school's hierarchy of cliques.
All right. So, yeah, this is something that I found odd, and it seems to be more and more common. These sort of mega schools.
Yep, which I never had any part of when I was growing up. I think I had like 100 people in my graduating class.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I graduated with 377 others. There were 378 that started the senior year. One guy died during the year, so there were 378 that should have graduated. 377 actually did. I think in the high school, and it was just 10th through 12th was the high school where I went. There were 1,500 students. So, a sizable population for a school. And that was overcrowded, and then, they wound up splitting the district, and then both schools that were supposed to hold like 1,200 students were overcrowded the next year, and, so a large school with over 1,000 students, not uncommon for where I lived, but these where they've got like 3,000 in a school. My question is, how many grades are in this school?
Right. Let me ask you something.
Because I know some places high school is 7th through 12th. Other places high school is 9th through 12th. Where I went, it was 10 through 12.
Mine was 7th through 12th. It was quite a shock for a 7th grader to be in the same classroom with a 12th grader right across the room from him. But let me ask you about your almost 400 graduating class.
Yes.
Did you know all the names of those people? Did you actually know everyone? At least their names?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for me, though, it was a little different. Like, we started our freshman year with like the 377 students, and then by the time we got to graduation,
they'd all been dropping out and whatnot.
There was like 165 of us left.
Interesting. Well, I wasn't one of the 100 because I wised up real quick. I figured out what I needed to know, and I'm like, you know what? I could have much more fun on the outside.
We had one or two students in my graduating class die every year from 6th grade till graduation.
Natural causes, or were they offing themselves? Drug overdoses.
Well, we had car accidents.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Car accidents and a drug overdose. One of them was shot in the back of the head by another student over a girl and a bag of weed. You had different reasons. 1, 2, 3 kids drowned. So, but yeah, every year from 6th grade to graduation, we had 2 kids die. And then you had tons, like all the dropouts and the move-aways. So, like, we had not quite a third graduate that started. But still, I mean, like, we all knew each other. We all grew up together. It was a small town and a small high school that took 2 middle schools and put them together. And even then, still was really small.
Yeah, and I had my 20-year reunion a couple of years ago, and there were only about 75 of the students that showed up, and then a few of them brought spouses. So I think there was about 90 or 100 people that showed up to the reunion. And then there was sort of a memorial for the people that had passed away. And there had been, I think it was 15 or 16 that had passed away from the time we graduated until the reunion a couple years ago.
Yep.
Yeah, so let's continue on here, and your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
This sort of pecking order dynamic tends to breed resentment, status anxiety, and social dysfunction. Combine that with the toxic effects of social media and family breakdown, and you've got a deadly brew. Public schooling is increasingly unhealthy for kids' emotional stability. Let us count the ways. Number one, the size and model of mass schooling is alienating, and that goes right into what she was just talking about, where you've got these mega schools that are so large, it's impossible to know everyone else, and it is so easy to slip into the cracks and to become a no one for the folks to lash out at. And basically back in 1929 through 1930, there was about 248,000 public schools in the United States.
All right, and
today, 98,000.
I was going to try having you tease that, Conan. You need to remember we're on radio. We need to give a tease. What are the 12 other ways that schools screw kids up? This is Free Talk Live.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
You've heard of Bitcoin Cash, but did you know there's now a Bitcoin Cash wallet? The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
If you're looking for work, you know the math. There are many more applicants than openings, so you need to stand out, not blend into the blah, blah, blah your interviewer is hearing from your competition. Here's a tip. In your interview, you will be judged more by the questions you ask than the answers you give. Yes, do anticipate the obvious job interview questions and prepare concise, insightful, glass-half-full sounding responses. And you should interview your interviewer. Seem genuinely curious about what will help get results. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. You want to cut through the clutter. For more tips for job seekers and making all the other conversations you have more productive, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl,
Conan,
and Will.
And how would you like to get a home security system delivered to your house that is very easy to use? You get the Blink Home Security System delivered. You then download an app, and it walks you through an easy setup. Even with a complicated router system, and assuming that you're not very technically inclined, you should still be able to get it set up in about 10 to 15 minutes. And then you can either get notified whenever anything moves in front of that wireless camera, or you can just take a look whenever you want to from your phone or that other mobile device. And have we got a deal for you? Get 3 Blink security cams for what the other guys charge for 1. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect.com, all one word, blinkprotect.com/FTL, as in Free Talk Live. One more time, blinkprotect.com/FTL. So Conan is sharing a list here from a website called thefederalist.com, and this appears to be a woman who has come up with some reasons and then done a little bit of research-ish to back up her points here. But she begins by asking, why does no one investigate the toxic effects of bureaucratic-run mega schools after a school shooting? And then proceeds to wind up doing something close to investigating the toxic effects of bureaucratic-run mega schools. So she has answered her own question of, no, somebody is doing it. Why are you asking the wrong question? But the first point that she makes here is the size and model of mass schooling. She says it's alienating. Conan, you had just given us some numbers. Give those to us one more time.
Yeah, back in the 30s, there were 248,000 public schools. And I guess that ranges all the way from K all the way to 12. And today...
Well, hold on. It says public schools. That could be elementary, middle school.
Right, K through 12.
Yes. Oh, I thought you said 7.
And for whatever reason, it's 2013, 2014, the number has shrunk to 98,000. So less than, or more than half.
Hold on. Well,
a decrease. Now, there are other things that have happened, too. You've got your private schools and you've got your...
Right. That's what I was going to ask is, how many private schools are there? Does
and
this
homeschooling.
Count? Does this count charter schools that are technically public schools, but for some weird reason, everybody wants to think that charter schools aren't public schools?
We don't think that way, but I guess there are people out there who think that way.
There are people that say...
They spend a fraction of what the public schools spend.
There are people that say charter schools are private schools. No, charter schools are public. They are government-funded schools. They are just privately operated.
Correct.
It is a government school. And then also you have to, depending on how the word public school is defined, a private school could be a public school. If they say, we are going to accept anyone who lives within 10 miles of this school, no tuition. They are open to the public. So it could be argued that is a public school.
Yeah, I would say if they were getting any money from the government,
again,
from the people.
This doesn't say taxpayer-funded school. So words have meaning.
Well, we could click on this National Center of Education Statistics.
You continue with the article, and again, the National Center for Education Statistics might wind up using different definitions for public school than what was used in 1929. But let's continue with the article. Again, the number of public schools went from 248,000 to 98,000.
And the U.S. population has tripled. And, it's happening right here in our own community. You have the school board members and friends of always talking about downsizing. They already got rid of got rid of my elementary school.
You have your own elementary school?
Where I would send my children. And now instead of being able to walk across the street, they got to get bused across town because they closed a great elementary school. And they're also having an issue with low population high schools. They've got the local Keene High School, and they've got one across the way, Monadnock. They're both lower in population. The cost to educate these kids isn't going down; it's actually going up. And guess what they want to do? They want to merge these two schools, meaning that they'll probably go to Keene, and you're going to have kids on a bus for an hour one way every morning just to get shipped from two towns over.
I used to do that.
It's ridiculous.
I did that when I was in school. We rode a bus literally 45 minutes one way to get to school.
All right,
here's my problem with this. What is wrong with small schools? Why do they have to?
You just mentioned it. They're
money.
Not cost effective. If you're paying, let's say that every town in New Hampshire, and there are 300 and something of them, if they are all paying a superintendent $100,000 a year, that is less efficient than if there are, I don't know, say 40 different school districts that are each paying a superintendent. It's more efficient to have a slightly larger school district.
The reason it's a problem, the reason they can't manage their money is because every school, in their opinion, every school has to have a Latin class, and it has to have every team imaginable, a hockey team and a baseball team and a chess team and a debate team.
Teachers.
I mean, I never had all of that in my high school, and we were doing just fine. I mean,
I took 2 years of Latin in high school. So
sometimes if you wanted to take one of the special classes, you had to, after school, get trucked to the school who was
or go to the community college,
or go to a community college. Exactly, graduate early, take your pre what are they called, the any class you can take in the 11 to 12 prereqs at college level.
Yeah.
But no, the problem is that you have these school officials who demand that every school be the same and teach the same way and have the same classes, and they don't have the money to do it. So what do? They squeeze everybody together, and now you're less likely to know the guy across the way, and you're more likely to be picked on. And you have individuals like the kid in Florida who couldn't take it anymore.
All right, so I went to this National Center for Education Statistics. While they do not define the term public school, they do mention that since the 1970s, school systems have been shifting away from having junior highs, which generally consisted of 7th and 8th or 7th through 9th grade, and moving towards middle schools, a subset of elementary school beginning with 4, 5, or 6 and ending at 6, 7, or 8. So when you're getting rid of junior high, shifting those to high school, and then moving others into an expanded elementary school or creating a middle school, that is going to toy with the numbers a good bit. And they actually have it broken down a little bit of how many elementary schools, how many secondary, and the number of secondary schools has actually increased since 1980. They don't actually have yearly statistics going back to the 70s or even the 30s, but the number of private schools has gone up drastically from 1980. This is Free Talk Live. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Tired of being censored by Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Patreon? Well, now you don't have to be. OneWay.com is the free speech and human-friendly social network built just for you. Stop feeding the beast. Every post you make on those evil, anti-human, anti-American perverted sites helps them destroy our families, our country, and our souls. Join One Way today and take back your liberty. Your free speech alternative is waiting for you at OneWay.com. OneWay.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Free Talk Live.
You guys catch my State of the Union address the other night?
That was very nice.
Hey, this is George Bush?
I'm afraid so, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, it's fantastic to have you listening to the show.
I wanted to run some new ideas I had past you guys.
Okay, cool. We'll be your sounding board there, Prez.
Ice cream day.
I love ice cream day. It's awesome. We should have ice cream month and different flavors, just like Baskin Robbins.
Every Friday, Americans get free ice cream.
Now, I don't know about that. Now, wait a minute.
From where, George? Ice Cream Angel's going to bring it down?
Yeah.
What about this one, guys? Everybody gets a pony in America.
It's very Texan. Presidents have a habit of just getting up and saying what sounds good, and then you don't do anything about it. I mean, really, you're not going to do anything. We all know that.
Well, most presidents don't do some of the things they promise. I promise not to do all of those things.
Awesome.
Free Talk Live. 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Maybe instead of, like listening to us on terrestrial radio or listening to one of the internet streams, you have an urge to actually watch us for some reason, you dirty, dirty voyeurs. Well, you can do that on Twitch. Head over to twitch.lrn.fm. There's chat rooms built into the Twitch page, and yeah, we've actually, stumbled upon a completely different audience than when we were just streaming on YouTube, which that's still available, but
nobody watches it.
Maybe you will enjoy the Twitch. And I know that there's a way that you can subscribe to the Twitch channel if you have Amazon Prime, and then I think we somehow get a little bit of money off of that. I don't entirely know how that works, but head over to twitch.lrn.fm. It's Darryl, Conan, and Will in studio. And Conan, you're going over this list here from thefederalist.com where lady has written an article, 13 Ways Public Schools Incubate Mental Instability in Kids. The first one was the size of the schools, to where they're a lot larger now than they used to be. Number 2 on the list is that public schools are basically like prisons.
Yeah, number 2 on this list of why it's unhealthy to send your kids to baby prison. The schools are abnormal. And this is one of the problems that I had when I was going to school, all grades, but it was most felt whenever I got into the public schools, where there was just so many kids that you had to blend into. Dr. Peter Gray at Boston College has studied in depth the harmful effects of mass schooling on children's mental health. Gray makes the point that school is simply an abnormal setting for children. But instead of admitting that our culture prefers to say that the children are abnormal for squirming, and so they want to jack them up full of Ritalin and whatnot.
Yep.
In short, school is a prison that actually causes trauma in children. Anxiety is a natural effect of being cooped up in a compulsory setting for hours on end, especially when you believe your future depends on your performance there. Yet few consider that environment as the cause or source of depression. According to a neighbor of the shooter in the recent Florida case, the shooter, quote, always had his head down. He looked depressed, unquote. According to the public defender, he's sad, he's mournful, he's remorseful. He's fully aware of what is going on, and he's just a broken human being.
And, there are reasons other than just public school exist for why this guy was depressed. His family had broken up. He'd been in the foster care system for a while. His birth parents, I believe, had both died. So, there was a lot going on. It wasn't just, oh, yeah, he went to government school, blame government school.
Mm-hmm. Well, absolutely, but I mean, for the same reason, don't blame it on the guns or blame it on the psychotropic drugs that he might have been on. And
I didn't say blame the gun. That's not at all what I said.
I am not. I'm playing devils, and I what are other people blaming it on? So I mean, we have to look at every element: the schools, the drugs, the guns, maybe the death in the family,
everything.
Right.
Every variable in the situation needs to be taken into account.
He ate gluten that one time.
But I mean, how many kids did you know in public school or even private or charter or whatever school who didn't perform so well, and before you know it, they're just at the bottom. They're at the bottom of the barrel, and they're always
in trouble.
They start taking out their feelings on. They become the next bully, or they start getting bullied. But they have to get it out of their system somehow or another, or bad things might happen.
Yeah, I didn't really have that problem. Let's continue with the rest of the list. I know you said you didn't want to cover all of the, and again, there's
some of them do get repetitive.
Yeah.
Number 3 is public schools are breeding grounds for hierarchical cliques.
Cliques.
I'm not saying it the American way. I'm going to say it the European cliques.
And you sound like a weirdo.
Both are acceptable.
No.
In large settings that promote conformity, see, I'm not conforming. People will naturally self-segregate into smaller groups, but the groups tend to be hierarchical. At the top are the popular queen bees and jocks who tend to make their busyness to oversee and regulate relationships among their peers. The divas students sort and label their peers in various ways, such as brainy, prudish, a-hole, geeky. Their lesser peers duly gravitate to a group that does accept them. At the bottom are those deemed weirdos or loners who tend to face intense ostracism. That dynamic only hardens their situation as isolated, alienated individuals. So why can't we guess which social strata school shooters tend to come from? They usually come from the bottom of the barrel, the picked on, the bullied.
Right, okay, well, I'm going to have to interject. And when I was in high school, we had 3 main groups.
Mm-hmm.
4. You had what they called the freaks. That was anybody who was into skaters, anybody that listened to Nine Inch Nails, anybody who was into punk rock, like all of those goth kids. This was before goth was goth. like the beginning of all that, Marilyn Manson was just coming out and all that stuff when I was in high school. So all those kids got grouped together into one group. And then you had rednecks. And that was it, like rednecks.
That's two groups.
If you wore
rednecks,
if you wore jeans so tight that they looked like they were spray painted on, you were redneck. Then you had the preps.
And they had belt buckles too.
Yep. And some of them were on the Florida Bull Riders Association in high school. We had high school bull riders when I was in school in Florida.
And I'm the redneck because I grew up in Alabama where we didn't have bull riding.
Right. Then we also had the preps. So there was and the black kids and I don't know if I'm allowed to say the other word. It starts with a W, but I'm just not going to push it.
The Latins?
No. The black kids, the Latins, the white kids who thought they were black.
Oh, they were all in one group.
All one group. And this is Central Florida in the late 90s. And so you had 4 social groups, and you were a part of
one of them. What about the
jocks?
Were the jocks
Jocks
not a group?
were
preps,
split
right?
among preps, rednecks, and the black kids. And the minority kids.
I was actually
between them.
I was a jock freak because I was track and cross country and soccer.
I was like the unofficial leader of the freaks, I guess, because like when the kids started dressing, like basically there were 2 of us my junior year, and then my senior year there was suddenly like 50 of us. So the administration assumed that me and the other kid who did it the year before were the leaders of all these other kids, when it was like, no, they're just all freshmen and they do it too. Like I can't make them not do these things. I don't know these kids.
So your group, which was a minority, was actually normalizing.
Yes, it was normalizing.
Yeah, there's a South Park episode about this.
I moved freely between all groups. I was like, the redneck girls were walking around and like trying to force their boyfriends to put on blue lipstick because they had like my lip print on their cheek. Because I was the freak kid, I wore like blue lipstick and did the heroin eyes and all that kind of stuff. But I moved freely between all groups, and I seemed to be like the only kid in the school who could do that. That could be like hang out with the black kids at one lunch and skip class and hang out with the preppy kids at the next lunch.
Yeah, I think like, that is a common theme among a lot of libertarians, where we did kind of. It's not that we were forced to do this, and forced to do it in our daily lives. It's just, hey, we don't judge by color, creed, race. Yeah. We judge by what the contents, and everyone is different. Everyone's got some good, and everyone's got some bad.
This thing of there are set social cliques, and you must be in one of the. It seems like Hollywood propaganda.
It's true for a lot of people, but for some of us, some people. Like I was classified as a member of the freaks because I wore like makeup and all that kind of stuff. But my girlfriend was a member of the rednecks, and that was unheard of. But for some reason, I could date a prep 1 month and a redneck the next month and a black girl the next month, and nobody batted an eye. But anybody else step out of that social circle that you're put in, and it's a totally different story.
Pecking order.
More on this. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl,
Conan,
and Will.
And for years, libertarians of all stripes have wanted a directory for liberty-minded businesses. Well, we're helping build one. Liberty.menu. It's a tool for our community. At its core is a directory for events, businesses, and digital content, and more. Listings can be rated and reviewed, and there's a bit of a social networking aspect to it so you can connect and share with other users. Use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at Liberty.menu and use code FTL to get a special Free Talk Live listener badge. That's Liberty.menu, code FTL. Conan's been sharing an article with us, and we're not going through this entire thing where it's from thefederalist.com. I will post the link on the Facebook and the Twitter where the author here says, here's 13 ways that public schools incubate mental instability in kids. And the first point, actually makes a lot of sense, that schools have gotten a lot larger than they used to be. They kind of feel like prisons is number two. And then the next several points are all various ways of saying that there are cliques and different groups. And that's kind of where she loses me. Yeah, I know there are cliques, but people aren't set. Oh, you're a preppy kid. You must always be in preppy kid, and you can't ever associate with anybody that's not preppy kid. That's some Hollywood BS.
It depends on how big your school is, and we haven't been to one of these mega schools. In my school, you could be multiple. You can move around to multiple groups, and it was allowed. But I can't say that there aren't schools like Hollywood. Like Hollywood has portrayed them.
Right, but also Hollywood has to simplify and dumbify things. In the book Forrest Gump was not a moron. Forrest Gump was a savant. But that is too much of a nuanced thing to portray on film. So what does Hollywood do? Moron.
Make him a moron, yeah.
I thought he was a moron savant.
They never portrayed him as a savant in the film.
How do you not pick up on that? The guy was brilliant. They
don't portray that. They portray that he was an idiot.
Yeah, it was between the lines. You had to pick up on it. And he was very lucky. He was a lucky savant.
They just played him. They portrayed him as a lucky dum-dum.
Yeah, Hollywood, this is their goal in that they are going to, that they entertain us. And yeah, you have to have to sensationalize these things. Otherwise, it's...
And nuance is not allowed in film, and that's the point, is the woman here is talking about these stereotypical things that are being portrayed in film as if it is real life, and I'm just saying that real life isn't like that, and she hits the point like 4 times. Number 6.
All right, let me just read them, and then I'll get to. We're doing number 6.
Yeah, right, just jump down to number 6.
Number 4. Public schools are breeding grounds for aggression. Number 5.
And then she goes on to talk about a movie.
Correct. School bureaucracy tends to reinforce the social pecking orders, and I agree that you have different cliques.
Teachers feed into that as well.
But at the same time, you're going to have guys at the very top who it's just like the military, where it's just like my chickens, my 23 backyard chickens. You don't necessarily know which one is in charge until you open the coop up one morning and one of their one guy is down on the ground with a bloody neck because, I don't know, she did something wrong during the night. I mean, it's just it's the same.
So you're saying that your chickens are like high school students, or high school students are like chickens?
We shouldn't be like chickens, is what I'm saying. High school students shouldn't be, and yet it forms, and it should not be reinforced.
When you worked at Walmart, were there cliques? Were there hierarchies in those cliques?
They were.
Is Walmart like a chicken coop?
The question is, were there natural hierarchies between like peers, or the manager who is being paid to be the manager is in charge of everybody?
Natural hierarchies among peers in cliques. You know what happens in the workplace.
Yeah, but was it like high school? Where, I mean, it was so obnoxious, where, I mean, there was actually fistfights every single day for the dumbest reasons. And then, people picking on one another.
What the hell kind of high school you went to where there were fistfights every day?
Will, you didn't have this?
Yeah.
It was at my school, at a Florida school. But then you get out into the real world, and it's like all of that just disappeared overnight. And that's my biggest problem in school.
I must have gone to a really damn good school because we didn't have half of this stuff that you guys are talking about.
And I went to the good school, by the way. I actually rode my bike 8 miles one way, so I didn't have to go to the school that was considered the bad school.
Not every day, but we had fights weekly. And then when I moved...
We didn't even have them weekly.
When I moved from the high school to what they called the vocational center, which was that other high school.
Oh, that's the one where the bad kids go.
That's where the dumb bad kids go.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
So
then it was a fight a day.
Let's jump on to number 6 here, and then there's really only like 1 or 2 others to even touch on.
All right, number 6, and this is very true. Public schools are increasingly politicized. Identity politics and leftist politicization in the schools is pervasive these days. It especially piles on the young men that label of guilty oppressor. Schools are becoming hotbeds of all sorts of political activity instigated by administrators and teachers. Privilege theory is now morphing into a new stage in which students engage in tell-all criticism and self-criticism sessions disguised as exercises in empathy. The message is loud and clear. Take part in this political activism or your social and academic standing will suffer. It's now commonplace to get students to take part in political marches and protests, getting them acclimated to is that the right word? Acclimated to acting
Conan
in
doesn't
concert
know how to pronounce words.
with a mob. And bringing kids into politics like you see so much on the like this gun debate where they're driving all the way to Tampa to act all outraged to, I don't know, the legislators there. Who's paying for those buses? Who's political, what political message are they actually feeding from? Is it really their ideas, or are they just being dragged into it? And that's how I see it. I mean, what does a 10-year-old between what is high school? 17, 18?
You go from 14 to 18 usually.
What does a 14-year-old actually know? I mean, what life have they actually experienced, and what opinions have they actually...
So are you saying you had no opinions on anything when you were 14?
I'm going to say my opinions weren't wise.
I had lots of opinions.
I had plenty of opinions.
They were
but
stupid.
Exactly.
A lot of them were stupid, and I got in a lot of trouble.
And stupid.
Right, but to think that just because, and I'll admit that I'm smarter now than I was when I was 14, but that's not to say that 14-year-old Darryl should not have had an opinion.
I thought it was a good idea to start smoking cigarettes when I was 15. That was a brilliant idea. I thought it would get me laid because there was this girl and she smoked cigarettes, and I thought it would get me laid.
Did it work?
At 15.
Did it work?
It did.
Well, there you go. So
I thought it was a great
idea.
So
it wasn't that dumb of an idea then.
No, it was a horrible idea. It took me 25 years to finally put them down.
We do not advocate teenagers smoking cigarettes. It's a bad idea. No, I don't advocate teenagers smoking cigarettes because cigarettes are absolutely horrible, disgusting things that should not exist.
What about vaping? What about this crackdown on all the vaping students? They have their new little USB vape machine that they can hide in their sleeve.
What? That's cool.
And teachers are going around and they're confiscating and, kicking kids out left and right.
All right, and then there was really only one other thing on here that I thought was worth touching on because, again, she basically regurgitates the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, school sucks.
And she keeps using the term leftist, which tells you something of where she comes from. Normal people don't throw around the word leftist.
Yeah. except the school it's a leftist organization.
It's true.
I'm sorry. There's not a whole lot of right-wing teachers anymore these days. There might have been 30 years ago.
People that use the term right-wing also have an agenda.
Well, I see.
I don't use either term generally unless I'm mocking people for using either term.
Here, I'm going to read number 7 because Will liked that one. We're going to take a break. Will, what was number 7? Reduced content knowledge promotes conformity.
Yeah, so that's the one that we wanted to touch on. We'll get to that, plus an open letter from a retired teacher to students that are walking out. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. What are your thoughts on public schools? This is Free Talk Live.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck or back or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
See why our homegrown small business at sunny-bay.com has tried to help people just like you. Get your Sunny Bay heating pads at sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com or call 253-678-1361 for hot and cold therapy. sunny-bay.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell, they send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, March 9th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.40 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,315 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $25, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,964. Antiwar.com reports President Trump has announced that an offer conveyed to the United States from North Korea by way of South Korea's visiting delegation, initially speculated to be a proposal for direct talks, is almost beyond that and stands to be one of the most significant diplomatic proposals in decades. The offer was announced publicly by South Korea's National Security Advisor. North Korea is inviting President Trump to directly meet with Kim Jong-un, with the two talking about North Korea disarming its nuclear program. North Korea added that they would pause nuclear and missile development during the talks. South Korea's delegation of high-ranking officials visiting Pyongyang earlier this week was an historic move. A meeting between Trump and Kim would be far, far more important, which could reasonably be called the biggest diplomatic measure on North Korea since the Korean War. President Trump was calling this Thursday revelation a major announcement, and President Trump says his intention is to meet Kim by May, which would be quite a rapid turnaround for such a high-profile meeting. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. UPI reports an outbreak of salmonella cases in 7 states linked to chicken salad has expanded to include 170 people, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. An additional 105 people from a total of 6 states fell ill after likely purchasing and consuming contaminated chicken salad before it was recalled. A total of 62 people between the ages of 7 and 89 have been hospitalized, and no deaths have been reported. The CDC said that illnesses that occurred after February 12th might not be reported, as public health agencies receive reports on salmonella illnesses 2 to 4 weeks after the illness starts. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports Los Angeles prosecutors said on Thursday they would not charge a former police officer in the 2015 shooting death of an unarmed man, despite a call by the city's police chief to do so. The former officer, Clifford Proctor, may have believed the 29-year-old man he shot was reaching for his partner's weapon during a struggle outside a bar, according to Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office in a report outlining the decision. The LA County District Attorney Jackie Lacey said in a statement that accompanied the 83-page report, prosecutors cannot ethically quickly charge a person with a crime if they do not believe a jury would convict that person of that crime. Los Angeles Police Chief Charlie Beck called for the charges to be filed against Proctor in January 2016, the first time Beck had recommended prosecuting one of his officers for an on-duty shooting death. But prosecutors said Beck's recommendation did not factor into their decision. The May 5th, 2015 shooting of Brendan Glenn in the beachside neighborhood of Venice followed a series of killings of unarmed minorities by police that put law enforcement agencies across the United States under scrutiny over the use of lethal force. Along with the report, the LA County District Attorney's Office released surveillance video on Thursday that showed the shooting and the tense moments leading up to it. Proctor and another officer saw Glenn fighting a man outside the bar where he worked as a bouncer. The officers intervened, wrestled Glenn to the ground. He pushed himself up. The video showed Proctor firing 2 rounds at Glenn after he wrapped his arms around the other officer's leg. Even if Glenn was not reaching for the officer's gun, the report said Proctor may have reasonably feared that he was. Glenn's family received a $4 million legal settlement in December 2016 from the city over his death. Attorney V. James DeSimone, who represents the Glenn family, said in a phone interview, "If an officer can't be prosecuted in this case, when will the district attorney in Los Angeles prosecute the police?" This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
The Princeton Medical Institute has found that the most common deathbed regret, more than losing contact with family or spending too much time at the office, is never having sprayed a fire extinguisher all over the place.
Similar themes emerged in our interviews with dying patients. Some wished that they'd taken more risks. Others wished that they'd lived a life truer to their dreams. But almost every single person surveyed, regardless of their age or circumstance, said that their most significant regret was never having grabbed a fire extinguisher off a wall and blasted it around a room until it ran out of foam.
I've lived a good life. I was a nurse for 32 years. I have 3 beautiful children, but I've never smashed my elbow into a glass case, grabbed a fire extinguisher, and gone whoosh over everything.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Kicking off hour number 2 in studio tonight. It's Darryl,
Conan,
and Will.
And we've spent the first hour talking about public schools and the ways that they wind up, let's say, stunting children.
Stunting their health, their mental and, well, yeah, their mental health.
And again, this is from an article from thefederalist.com where the lady is, in my opinion, she's just, writing about these Hollywood stereotypes as if it is actual real life. And Conan, you're saying, how do we know that it's not? And, maybe for some people, it is their reality, but what she is saying is there are cliques, and those cliques have hierarchies. And if you are a member of one clique and then you do something that the hierarchical leader doesn't like, then you get punished. But that's not real life.
Okay.
Real life is, as you and Will both pointed out, you've jumped around and hung out with people from every different clique.
I don't consider Will and I to be the normals.
No, we're not the normals.
I didn't say you were normal.
I saw this.
Everybody that I knew when I was in high school, they would bounce around and hang out with different people. It wasn't you're a jock and you can only hang out with other jocks.
I went to a very small school, and there was most definitely a hierarchy. There was most definitely cliques, and there was people, and there were most definitely individuals who would not leave their clique ever. They would not go and segregate with the rest of their peers.
And I think that that's the exception, not the rule.
And I think that life imitates Hollywood and vice versa. It's
Right, but again, Hollywood can't have nuance.
Well, I think also that it has all. I think, like you said before, it has to do with the size of the school that you go to. Like these huge schools where you kind of get lost in the mix, unless you have a clique, you're probably going to be more likely to be forced into staying into those cliques. But then you go to a small, like again, like none of us had graduating classes bigger than 200, 300 kids. None of us went to big high schools.
I went to what was one of the biggest high schools in the area.
In the area? What was the area?
Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama is not an area. Like you weren't in Birmingham.
Yes, I was.
You were?
I was in
the biggest high school in Birmingham.
I was the one town next to Birmingham, and our graduating class was bigger than any of them in Birmingham.
Wow, well that is a pretty big high school then.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. And I think there were only like 2 other schools in the state that had larger graduating classes.
Wow.
You had to go to like Atlanta or somewhere in Tennessee to find much larger high schools.
And you still saw free moving between...
Yes.
Okay,
that's why I'm saying I think my experience was much more the norm, not... this whole, here's what Hollywood portrays.
Okay, here's something else that Hollywood portrays. It's very commonplace. It's the theme in every prison movie that I've ever seen. When the guy goes to a big prison, if he doesn't get into a group right off the bat, he doesn't have any protection and he finds himself somebody's what. All right. I've never been, so I don't know. Maybe somebody out there in the ethers could call in and tell us is this real?
855 450 free. So is it the thing on the first day in prison, you go punch the biggest, baddest dude? Do you do that on the first day or not?
My mom had a husband that was in prison for 10 years, and this was the way that he put it. The rape thing may have been real and big back in the day, but there's so many people giving it away for free in prison now that you don't have to take it, if that makes sense.
Yes. All right. Maybe not necessarily a sex toy, but getting beat on and forced to do the will of others.
Is completely true.
So there was one more point from this list about the reduced content knowledge promotes conformity.
Yeah, radical education reform has gutted school curricula of meaningful content, replacing it with identity politics, fads, and political activism. Kids are increasingly ignorant of the U.S. Constitution, the basics of civil society, and how our system of government works and why.
Our system of government doesn't work.
It does not. You're correct.
Nobody in D.C. gives 2 damns about the U.S. Constitution. And again, she keeps using the term leftist, so it tells you what her political bent is, to where she thinks that this document written 240 years ago is going to save us from the government.
Not only that, but pushing it with such an unabashed political bent, it loses credibility.
Right.
It really does.
This growing ignorance of history, geography, and classics makes it harder for children to find context in their place in the world. It disables their ability to think clearly and independently, and it cripples imagination and creativity. Such ignorance creates a vacuum for a more cynical and nihilistic approach towards life. And I'm a cynic, so I don't like.
And I also don't think that this woman actually wants children to learn how to think clearly. She wants them to learn to think how she thinks.
Correct.
Yes.
And I would say if you went to this woman and said that we're going to get away with, or we're going to take away the Pledge of Allegiance every morning, she would probably, yes, the vein in her head would explode all over you.
Number 10 on her list, and I don't want to go beyond just telling you the headline here. She says public school is increasingly hostile towards Christianity.
Yeah.
Which tells you that she only wants her version of religion to be allowed in schools. Will, I guarantee you, she would not want you and your children in her school with your holy book.
But
no,
but
of course not.
We have all determined that she's most definitely coming from an angle. But
I could have told you that when I read the headline of the website.
But schools have become increasingly hostile to Christianity. They have.
If by
and
hostile you mean that courts are upholding that you can't prefer one religion to another, then yes, they're hostile.
I am thinking more in terms of, if you listen to some of these, so they have a bill here in New Hampshire to actually pay private schoolers and homeschoolers are funding them a portion of tuition.
Yeah, it's a scholarship
bill. Which would take money from public schools.
Right, because the students aren't using the public schools.
If you listen to the reps who are against this, when every single time this is brought up, they are against Christian schools, Christian educators and students getting that money from public.
And actually, that's not the only thing, though. In Florida, there was an argument, because they have a voucher bill in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
It was brought up for discussion and debate again because someone pointed out, Muslims can get that money. The bill in Tennessee, the voucher bill in Tennessee, that's how the Democrats convinced the Republicans to table the bill. Was a Democrat got up and gave a speech about how the Muslim private school was going to get the money, and the guy who was getting up to give a speech about his support of the bill that was a Republican instead got up and gave a speech about how we were about to give tax dollars to terrorism training camps, and he wasn't going to stand for it. And the Republicans that sponsored that bill got pulled quick and tabled, and it's never went back up for a vote again. And the Democrats knew if they rang that Pavlov's bell of Islam, that the Republicans would turn against the school choice bill.
And the supporters of the bill here in New Hampshire, they've made clear that this is not a voucher bill. It's money that follows the student. It's not a voucher, but it kind of looks like a voucher and acts like a voucher. And there is something, I forget if it's in the state constitution or in the state laws.
It's the state constitution, and it says
tax
that
funding cannot go to religious institutions.
Correct. So what happens when a parent takes this funding and gives it to their Christian private school? That's going to be the next item on the courts.
Here's the solution. Get rid of government funding of education. This is Free Talk Live. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Do you want to reach people with the ideas of liberty? How about doing it from the back of your car, Will Coley? How many stickers do you have?
Tons. Oh my God, so many. And I would say half of them come from libertystickers.com.
I'm trying to imagine a ton of stickers.
That'd be
a lot of stickers.
Whole back of my van is covered. You can see out of the window mostly.
You can reach thousands of people with a bumper sticker.
Yes,
okay.
It's safe.
You can reach thousands of people with a bumper sticker, and people love to read them. I know I've rolled up a little bit closer at a red light to read. What's that say? Check out the vast selection of witty, poignant, pithy, and downright bombastic liberty-oriented messages at libertystickers.com. That's libertystickers.com. So we've been talking about this thing called education that is more properly just
not education.
Schooling.
Public schools.
We're talking about schooling.
But we also talked a little bit about our pasts, about our experiences, and we all went to little schools.
I want to make sure that I make this point very clear. We need to stop saying public schools because
government-run schools.
No. Private schools do the same thing a lot of the time, and not only that, but because of our whole system of accreditation, private schools. Basically, what you get at a private school is you get a better qualified teacher to teach your kids the same crap they teach in a public school, just at an earlier age. Yes. So, like, instead of learning how to do multiplication tables in 3rd grade, you learn how to do them in 1st grade. But they're still teaching Common Core. But instead of a teacher with a bachelor's degree in education teaching your kid, it has to be a teacher with a master's degree, because since you're a private school, we're going to hold you to this other standard where you have to have higher qualified teachers than a public school to get the same accreditation that a public school has.
I know those private schools exist. They teach just like the public government schools do.
They just add religious courses.
The private schools that I went to as a young lad were wholly different. I was learning what was the phonics
Phonics.
Hooked on
phonics. That's what we were learning that, and then I went to the public schools, and then I had to relearn everything because I had done it all wrong. I had learned it, one way, and then they turned around, flipped it on its head, and I found out that I had learned wrong, according to them.
Yeah.
Even though I knew how to read.
Yeah.
So let's move to an open letter to students from a former teacher to students who are walking out.
Okay, what do you mean former? Like he just quit or he's been retired for some time?
He says, I'm a retired teacher of 24 years. Doesn't say when he retired, but
Gotcha.
Retired teacher, former. I taught you as a 7th grader all the way through 12th. This is not a tweet or a text. It's called a letter. Lengthy and substantial. Do you really want to make a difference? Are you sincere about making your school safe? Don't walk out. Read this instead. Walking out of school is easy compared to what this letter will challenge you to do. First of all, put down your stupid phone. Look around you at your classmates. Do you see the kid in the corner over there alone? He could likely be the next shooter. He needs a friend. He needs you. Go talk to him. Befriend him. Chances are he won't be easy to like, but it's mainly because no one has ever tried to like him. Ask him about him. Get to know him. He's just like you in that respect. He wants someone to recognize him as a fellow human being, but few people ever give him the chance. You can. Next, see the kid eating lunch all alone? He could also likely be our next shooter. Invite him to eat lunch with you. Introduce him into your fold of friends. You'll most likely catch a lot of flack from the friends you already eat with because they don't want him upsetting the balance of their social order. After all, you want to hang out, or rather who you want to hang out with is critical to your status, is it not? If status is important, don't you think it's important to him also? The only difference being that he has no status because generally shooters have no friends. Are you serious about wanting to make your school safe? Invite him to your lunch table and challenge your friends to do something meaningful with 30 minutes of their lives each day. Lastly, are you completely frustrated by the kid who always disrupts your class and is consistently sent to the principal's office? He could likely be the next shooter. Do you know why he causes so much trouble? He initiates disruption because that's the only thing he does that gets him attention, and even bad attention is better than no attention that he received from you and your classmates. You secretly wish he would get kicked out of school or sent to the alternative disciplinary school so that he wouldn't disrupt your class anymore, that somehow he should just disappear. Guess what? He already feels invisible in a school of thousands of classmates, including you. So before he acts out in your next class, why don't you tell him you'd be willing to help him with the assignment that was just given? Or why don't you ask him to join your study group? If you really want to blow his mind, ask him for help on the assignment. He's never been asked before. Ever. If you have read this far, you probably really do care about your safety and the safety of your school. Don't trust that walking out will bring an answer. Gun control or more laws is not and will not be the answer. You are the answer. Your greeting, your smile, your gentle human touch is the only thing that can change the world of a desperate classmate who may be contemplating something as horrendous as shooting a school. Look past yourself and look past your phone and into the eyes of a student who no one else sees. Meet the gaze of a fellow human being desperate to make contact with anyone, even just one person. You, if you really feel the need to walk towards the person. Your new friendship can relieve the heartache of one person and in doing so possibly prevent the unjustifiable heartache of hundreds of lives in the future. I know you. I trust you. You are the answer. And teachers, my fellow guardians of our youth, I know you too. I know the desire of wanting to make a difference in a young person's life. I know the thrill of stepping in front of a classroom of students, but simultaneously intimidated by the trust bestowed upon you. I also know the crushing, sometimes unbearable responsibility that your shoulders are asked to carry. But that's why you got into teaching, because you have big shoulders and a big heart. You're overworked, I would add underpaid, but you didn't get into teaching for the pay, so it need not be said. You're underappreciated and exhausted. May I add one more item to that list? You're a miracle waiting to happen in the life of the worst student. He could likely be your next shooter. The next time, and there's always a next time, that he's ready to wreak havoc in your classroom, I challenge you to pull him aside and ask if he's okay, if there's something bothering him, and if there's anything you can do to help. Your genuine concern may just be the miracle he's looking for, the miracle we're all looking for. I know you. I trust you. You are the answer. Signed, a former teacher who is as heartbroken as you and trusting you are not going to walk out on the real answer. David Blair. And yes, teachers really do have first names. This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-3733.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
We all have heard about the benefits of fish oils, but what about the presence of heavy metals, PCBs, dioxins, furans, and other contaminants found in fatty tissues of fish? GCNteam.com recognizes this risk and offers IFOS certified tested omega-3 fatty acids. EPA, DHA insist on IFOS omega-3 fatty acid certification. Get the best at GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Your calls and thoughts welcome about whatever is on your mind. In studio tonight, it's Darryl,
Conan,
and Will.
And we've got some forums. Yeah, that means, like old school forums. You can join us in the forums. And yeah, there's also the Discord, but that's kind of like a big giant chat room thing. And you know what happens with chat rooms? Yep, they get taken over by trolls. But I prefer the forums over at forum.freetalklive.com. Yeah, it's kind of like the old school bulletin board sort of thing, but with newer tech behind it. Forum.freetalklive.com.
So, Darryl, you just read a letter from a teacher, a former teacher, to the kids who are all walking out. They're all staging these walkouts, or they're going up to Tampa to talk to their legislators and whatnot. And he says, you know what? If you really want to be the change that you're claiming you want to be, go over there and talk to the bullied kid, talk to the loner, talk to the guy sitting all by himself. Make the kid feel better. Make him feel a part of the unit that you claim to be. And that's where you should start. And I think I've heard this argument more this year than I think I have ever heard. And this is something this is what I've always known to be the case as far as these poor kids on their psychotropic drugs and that have been probably bullied or have family problems or whatever, going and shooting their schools up. And it's like, yeah, where were you, preppy kid? Where were you, jock boy? Where were you when this kid was getting beat down? You mean, or coming to school after his mom died and comforting him, and whatnot. Where were you? And you actually let this happen. It's kind of your fault. But the thing is, I've heard this argument more than I think I've ever heard it before, and a lot of it, by the way, is coming from the right wing. And what I fear is that, and I hope this doesn't happen, that with all this attention on the loner kid, on the lonely kid, that it doesn't backfire, and that these kids all of a sudden are now fearful of the lonely kid, and instead of going and confronting him and comforting him,
well, you just said confront. That word itself has implications.
I meant confront in a positive,
interact with.
Yeah,
but that's why I changed it to comfort. Yeah. But I mean, I hope that it doesn't turn around and blow up in someone's face. And now not just the administrator. I mean, the students, but the administrators are now going and targeting these poor kids who would never blow up, who would never.
I hate to tell you, but administrators were already usually targeting, the marginalized kids. I don't have a problem talking about it now that I'm an adult, but for the first until I hit middle school and I moved to Florida, I was that kid. Mm-hmm. I was literally shorter than the shortest girl in my grade. I was the smallest kid in my class, and I was treated like the smallest kid in my grade. And in 5th grade, one of my teachers, I was to bend over and allow the other kids in my classroom to kick me in the butt.
And the teacher allowed it.
The teacher
probably instigated it.
Yes. The teacher told me to do it because of something I had done to make the class. Now the class wasn't going to be able to do something, and she wanted them to punish me for it. There were teachers, Miss Gormley was her name.
That's some straight Ender's Game right there.
Here's the best part. She had a deformed face where she had a bolt on a bed rip her nose off her face as a small child. Okay. And her hands were curled up like this. So she had a physical deformity and walked.
For people not in the studio, he's curling his arms in towards the forearm.
Well,
like eagle talons.
You know that like stereotypical quote unquote retard. I don't even really like to use the term for a person that's got, a physical or a mental deformity. But that like hands curled in thing.
Yeah, the hand gesture that Donald Trump did to make fun of a reporter, and then he says, "I didn't do that."
She was a teacher, a 5th grade teacher, and she had like a kind of a limp, but she had like a physical deformity, and let other kids pick on me. And that's what now as an adult that I find so absolutely like horrifying, and
that she should out of all of the teachers, she should have known better.
Yeah.
That was not acceptable
at all. Yeah. And now once I moved to Florida and I got to middle school and some things in my life changed, that all went away. But I could have very well been like a Dylan Roof. I mean, that literally was my senior year in high school when that happened.
Yeah.
But something changed and things in my life changed and my whole school, everything changed.
Yeah, I think you left baby prison and you went out into the real world where people don't behave the same way. The pecking order it might still be there, Darryl, and the hierarchical system might still be there, but it's much easier to actually get along with your fellow human beings because, I don't know, maybe there are consequences involved, and maybe humanity kind of takes shows its head.
School is a horrible place. When I lived in St. Petersburg, I lived across the street from St. Pete High School, and they literally had the magnetic buzzing gate.
Yep.
To let the kids on and off the campus. And this was in 2003.
Wow.
And it was to prevent kids from skipping class. There was a 7 or 8 foot tall fence, and you can go to St. Pete High School. It's right there. You get off the exit for downtown St. Pete, and you drive right by it on your way to Highway 19. It's on your right. There's a drive-in pizza store on your left, and the kids would skip school. They would hang out in my yard because I had a tall fence you couldn't see through. I would come out at like 2 o'clock in the morning and find like 5 or 6 high school kids smoking doobies like in my backyard at my table, and I'm like, "What are you doing here?" And like,
we're getting away from prison.
You're not going to tell on us, are you? Well, no, I'm not going to tell on you, but could you not smoke pot in my yard while you're skipping school?
Well, it's coming. More fences, more fingerprint scanners when you check in the morning, more locked doors. It's so good. God, I mean, supposedly we have a really nice high school here in Keene, and I've walked to those halls while the kids are in doing their thing, learning how to take tests, and it is scary to me.
Yeah.
It is Ender's Game.
Our school in Florida, when I was in middle school in the 90s, we had an armed police officer on the campus. And that was, like I said, 40 minutes from civilization out in the middle of the Ocala National Forest.
He was like a security guard. He was an actual cop.
He was an actual uniformed police officer that was on campus because if you got in a fight, he took you to jail in his car. But he was and if you got caught with, like, kids were getting caught with pot and stuff like that, And same thing at the high school. There was an Officer Monster, and his name was actually Monster. Officer Monster, I remember him. He was like 6 foot tall, bald on the top, and I mean he was an okay guy.
What was his coworker, Officer Red Bull?
I don't know, but he was a cop, and he was on campus. He walked around. He had a gun, and he walked around campus. There was a fight, and you saw him like run. Like this middle-aged bald man go running across the campus like a bat, like. It's because there's a fist fight over by the football field or something, and he's running as fast. He had a golf cart for if the distance was too far to run, and he'd hop in his golf cart and zoom right off. And we're talking like 1997.
Well, here in Keene, they just approved a armed officer. I think it was 2 years ago, and he rotates. He goes from the high school to the middle school to whatever.
Well, we saw in Parkland, Florida, just how much that even matters.
Yeah, well, we even talked about that last night where there were 2 SWAT officers from a neighboring jurisdiction that they were doing some training. They heard on the radio. They were like, wait, that's not too far. And they drove over. Hey, there anything you need us to do? And the guy in charge was like, nah, we're cool. The 2 SWAT guys that showed up to help wound up being removed from the SWAT and given some kind of reprimand because, well, we can't just have everybody show up to a scene. Your calls and thoughts welcome, whether it be about government, schooling, or cannabis being safer than opiates. This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynavite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNtelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNtelecare.com, virtual care anywhere.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl.
Conan.
And Will.
And, you know, we often talk a good bit about cryptocurrencies on this show, and wouldn't it be great if there was a website that you could go to get all kinds of cryptocurrency news? Well, there is news.bitcoin.com. One of the articles posted earlier today, and Will, this might interest you. Most forked coins are proving more of a hassle than they're worth. And they talk about not just some of the forks of Bitcoin, but also Z Classic, Ether Classic, and Litecoin that all had forks recently. And yeah, some of them not worth the hassle to try to figure out how do I get my private key from this and then import it into there. And then there's all kinds of other stuff. Let's see, what are some of the other headlines? Single Point launches a Bitcoin payment solution for the cannabis industry. And that ties into...
Oh, you mean Potcoin, Canacoin, Hempcoin, the other 500 weed-related coins?
No. Sounds as though they're doing a payment solution, not a new currency. But the cannabis thing, and again, these stories and more, news.bitcoin.com, ties into something, Will, that you have about a study about cannabis and opioids.
Well, everybody here that's got, everybody in America that has a brain and ears knows that we're in the midst of 60 or more thousand people dying a year from opiate overdoses.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, I come from Tennessee where, we have a term for opiate users there. We call them pillbillies. It's replaced crack and crystal meth in many states as like the addictive drug of choice. And many of these people, I have a friend who was hooked on fentanyl. She got started with hydrocodones because of fibromyalgia. Because chronic pain. One of the reasons I wanted to bring this up, I live with chronic pain. I've lived with chronic pain for 10 years. And what they're finding now, I've always, since I was 22 years old, I've sworn off the use of opiates. They make me sick. So it wasn't really hard for me. And I've searched and searched and searched for other ways to treat my pain. And the Journal of European Internal Medicine, they did a study recently that finally, validates everything I've said for the last 8 years. They followed almost 3,000. Go ahead.
But before you jump into that, I just pulled up a statistic from drugabuse.gov, which is, it's a .gov, so, some government thing, but they have broken down the 64,000 drug overdose deaths in 2016 by the type of drug. So synthetic opioids other than methadone, 20,000. Heroin, 15,000. Natural and semi-synthetic opioids, 14,000. Cocaine, almost 11,000. Methamphetamine, almost 8,000. And methadone, 3,300.
Darryl, where's weed at?
That still remains at 0.
Well, the article I've got here actually says that all 64,000 of those people died from opioid overdoses.
All right, well,
it links drugabuse.gov, and it says 64,000 people died from opioid overdoses.
Well, they're wrong.
So, yeah.
But somebody made a mistake somewhere.
How many people are listed there who overdosed on weed?
That number still remains at 0 throughout all of human history. Although there is a claim that 2 people overdosed from marijuana.
Dabs. Yeah, they took too many dabs.
No.
What about all the dogs that died?
Both of
eating
the
chocolate,
the
butter.
Those aren't humans. They died from eating chocolate.
But
the 2 deaths allegedly linked to cannabis were not recent. They were from like the 1960s. And again, there's reports that they may have had other things in their system other than just cannabis.
They were purposefully poisoning cannabis in the 60s and the 70s in order to discourage, just like they did with alcohol.
Just like they're poisoning oil, correct. Using the paint thinner.
This says here.
It's not 60,000, but it's still a huge number compared to, say, cocaine and
any other
drug.
else.
Cocaine, 10,000. Let's add methamphetamine at almost 8,000. Methadone at 3,300. So
okay,
that's
methadone is an opiate, though. Methadone is what you take to get off heroin.
right. Add that with natural and semi-synthetic opioids, which is another 14. So that's 25,000. Heroin, that puts us at 40, and then synthetic opioids at 20,000. So it's nearly 60,000.
Okay. Of the 64,000 overdoses. So, like 94% of the overdoses in America are opioids. And again, a lot of this comes from people who are trying to treat pain. I have uncles who've lived with chronic pain who have been opioid addicts more than one time in their life because of numerous surgeries. Well, the European Journal of Medicine did a study that followed nearly 3,000 cancer patients from 2015 to 2017 as they embarked on a medical marijuana treatment specifically for chronic pain. Each patient was able to choose a plan that specifically catered to their lifestyle and had 16 different strains of cannabis to choose from. Pain scales were ranked before taking the medicine and then measured again after treatment was underway. The results were overwhelmingly possible. Only 1,211 of the patients were able to be surveyed. 608 stopped treatment for various reasons. 902 of them actually died in the course of time. But 95.9% of those who were able to be, of the 1,200 patients, reported an improvement in their condition. The vast majority of them experienced a dramatic reduction in pain. While at the outset, 52.9% of patients rated their pain scale between an 8 and 10 on a scale of 10. After 6 months of treatment, the number of patients reporting that level of pain had dropped to just 4.6%. Said on top of managing pain, the study shows that cannabis was also capable of treating other issues that we all know it helps with, sleeping issues, vomiting, anxiety and depression, and that the study's author fully endorses the drug as a treatment option. In an age where physicians often prescribe a different medicine for each cancer symptom, cannabis as a comprehensive treatment that affects several symptoms becomes a desirable therapeutic option. As a palliative treatment for cancer patients, it seems to be well tolerated, effective, and safe.
All right, so let's go back to the statement about doctors oftentimes will give a different prescription for each symptom. Oh, you're nauseous. Take this. You have trouble sleeping. Take this. You have this. Take that. And then, oh, well, this pill, the little yellow pill here, it gives you these side effects, so you need to take the green pill to counter the side effects of the yellow pill, and that gives you side effects that, the sleeping pill also gives you those side effects, so you need to take this other pill. So then instead of taking 3 pills for 3 symptoms, you're taking 6 pills because 3 of them are for the symptoms, and then 3 of them are for the side effects caused by the 3 pills.
Well, like me, painkillers make me ill. Like if I take anything bigger than like a 5 milligram hydrocodone or Vicodin, they make me very nauseous. And treating chronic pain with cannabis, not only does it not make me nauseous to start with, it actually makes the pain go away in a manner that it stays gone, but I don't have to be a loopy-doo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have 5 children. I don't want to be, and I have a job. I have to take care of a radio show. Like, I have a life. I have to be a human being and take care of responsibilities, clean a house, like I have things to do. And being on opioids does not allow me to do that. But there are cannabis strains out there, like Harlequin, that are made to be
Is that an indica or a sativa?
It's
how many milligrams of THC?
It's a hybrid, and it's meant to not make you high.
Okay.
Like it's just straight up meant to not make you high. It's the way it's described on like the cannabis websites is pain relief without intoxication. It's pain relief without intoxication. So you don't have to get high to smoke pot.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. Do you have any experiences with medicinal marijuana? What about medicinal psilocybin?
If you owe money to the IRS, you need to hear this. The IRS is cracking down on those who owe back taxes. It starts with a devastating letter, and if you don't act immediately, you could find yourself having your wages garnished or have a lien placed on your property. But there's a solution. Tax 10,000 can help. Avoid enforced compliance, where these holds on your income and seizure of your home could become a nightmare that just won't end. Call 800-239-9957 now and speak to one of our experts. 800-239-9957 is the number to link you directly to a tax resolution specialist who will negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. Working through the IRS Fresh Start program, all the forms will be handled for you. All you have to do is make the toll-free call. 800-239-9957. Find out if you qualify and possibly save yourself thousands of dollars, not to mention a lot of headaches. It could be the best call you've made today. That number again, 800-239-9957. The service does not provide tax settlement or legal services. We will refer you to a company that does provide such services. Often the IRS will not agree to any reduction in the amount owed. Not all taxpayers who owe more than $10,000 will qualify for a tax reduction program.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, March 9th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.40 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,315 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $25, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,964. Antiwar.com reports President Trump has announced that an offer conveyed to the United States from North Korea by way of South Korea's visiting delegation, initially speculated to be a proposal for direct talks, is almost beyond that and stands to be one of the most significant diplomatic proposals in decades. The offer was announced publicly by South Korea's National Security Advisor. North Korea is inviting President Trump to directly meet with Kim Jong-un, with the two talking about North Korea disarming its nuclear program. North Korea added that they would pause nuclear and missile development during the talks. South Korea's delegation of high-ranking officials visiting Pyongyang earlier this week was an historic move. A meeting between Trump and Kim would be far, far more important, which could reasonably be called the biggest diplomatic measure on North Korea since the Korean War. President Trump was calling this Thursday revelation a major announcement, and President Trump says his intention is to meet Kim by May, which would be quite a rapid turnaround for such a high-profile meeting. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. UPI reports an outbreak of salmonella cases in 7 states linked to chicken salad has expanded to include 170 people, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. An additional 105 people from a total of 6 states fell ill after likely purchasing and consuming contaminated chicken salad before it was recalled. A total of 62 people between the ages of 7 and 89 have been hospitalized, and no deaths have been reported. The CDC said that illnesses that occurred after February 12th might not be reported as public health agencies receive reports on salmonella illnesses 2 to 4 weeks after the illness starts. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports Los Angeles prosecutors said on Thursday they would not charge a former police officer in the 2015 shooting death of an unarmed man, despite a call by the city's police chief to do so. The former officer, Clifford Proctor, may have believed the 29-year-old man he shot was reaching for his partner's weapon during a struggle outside a bar, according to Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office in a report outlining the decision. The LA County District Attorney Jackie Lacey said in a statement that accompanied the 83-page report, prosecutors cannot ethically charge a person with a crime if they do not believe a jury would convict that person of that crime. Los Angeles Police Chief Charlie Beck called for the charges to be filed against Proctor in January 2016, the first time Beck had recommended prosecuting one of his officers for an on-duty shooting death. But prosecutors said Beck's recommendation did not factor into their decision. The May 5th, 2015 shooting of Brendan Glenn in the beachside neighborhood of Venice followed a series of killings of unarmed minorities by police that put law enforcement agencies across the United States under scrutiny over the use of lethal force. Along with the report, the LA County District Attorney's Office released surveillance video on Thursday that showed the shooting and the tense moments leading up to it. Proctor and another officer saw Glenn fighting a man outside the bar where he worked as a bouncer. The officers intervened, wrestled Glenn to the ground. He pushed himself up. The video showed Proctor firing 2 rounds at Glenn after he wrapped his arms around the other officer's leg. Even if Glenn was not reaching for the officer's gun, the report said Proctor may have reasonably feared that he was. Glenn's family received a $4 million legal settlement in December 2016 from the city over his death. Attorney V. James DeSimone, who represents the Glenn family, said in a phone interview, "If an officer can't be prosecuted in this case, when will the district attorney in Los Angeles prosecute the police?" This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. A study published Friday by the University of Minnesota found that mosquitoes have no physiological reason for biting humans, with researchers noting that the insects feed exclusively on pollen and seemingly only suck human blood out of spite.
According to our findings, mosquitoes usually spit out the blood after a bite. They just really enjoy ruining outdoor activities and spreading deadly diseases.
Researchers added that mosquitoes often bite a variety of vertebrates besides humans, including baby pandas, koala bears, and very small puppies, all for fun. And in tech news, a new Visa talking credit card urges buyers to go for it.
Come on, buy it. You know you want it.
In other news, the utterance of a secret password grants customers access to a long-rumored 18-inch Subway sandwich. It's easy to tell what an area man would look like as a skeleton, and a longtime teacher retires without changing a single student's life. This week's scheduled interview with the surly and forlorn Matthew Modine was cut for time and is doomed to never be seen. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is Free Talk Live. Kicking off hour number 3. You can join us by calling toll-free 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl,
Conan,
and Will.
And Will, there's still more to your article about cannabis being safer, which I think most people knew, and actually better for pain relief than addictive opioids. And somewhat related that we'll get into is a possible ballot measure in Denver about psilocybin. But let's continue on with your article. And where's this from?
It's actually in Yahoo. It's actually on Yahoo.com. But
Yahoo.
They are. They're quoting a number
They've actually started doing some of their own reporting instead of just aggregating from elsewhere.
Yes, and I mean they're bringing in stuff. The first study in Israel. But then there was another one that was also done this year. It was released in March. It was released this month on the therapeutic effects of cannabis and cannabinoids. It's an update.
This in the U.S.?
Yeah, an update from the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine report.
Okay.
And it's the same thing they did. They considered 10,000 recent abstracts to determine their relevance, and what they came out with was that cannabis was more effective and safer at treating chronic pain. I mean, I'm not talking about you broke your leg. Right. And I'm talking like this is pain that you're going to live with. It's never going to go away.
Right. We're talking rheumatoid arthritis.
Most likely it's
compressed disc in a back.
It's usually either
concussions,
Darryl. Right. It's usually either a nerve damage pain, right, or some type of serious joint damage. And what they're finding out is that...
You said joint damage.
Right. Great pun. What they're finding out is that for adults with chronic pain, it's amazing. But now we've got, of course, there's the naysayers.
And it doesn't kill you.
And it doesn't kill you, exactly.
And it's a lot more...
Unless a pallet of it falls on your head.
And it's a lot more affordable.
Yeah, a lot more affordable. But now, of course, we've got the naysayers. We've got this guy, his name's Kevin Sabat. He's the founder of Smart Approaches to Marijuana. And he says that the studies miss the point that, of course, everyone knows that components of marijuana, like THC, have shown results for modest pain relief. But that's a very different conclusion than saying marijuana, which has 100 components, is good for you. So we need to distinguish between the two. Okay, well, how's this? I have a medical marijuana card. I use cannabis as a treatment for chronic pain. I smoke 3 very specific strains, and they make it to where when I cross my legs, when it's cold outside, I don't want to cry. Darryl, you've physically seen this. You've seen when I don't have access to the kind of cannabis that makes my pain go away. When I pick my right leg up, it hurts. It's pain that will literally be with me for my entire life, for the rest of it will only get worse. And I can do that without wincing in pain and without being stoned out of my mind, without drooling all over myself on the couch, and without accidentally overdosing so that my children can find me dead and bloated in my bed when they come home from school one day. I can take care of my life, take care of my job, take care of a family, cook dinner. I can be a productive member of society, not be an addicted vegetable, and not see, like, I've watched family members of mine suffer through that, and it's painful. I've seen it. I've seen what families go through, and you've got, report after report after report after report now that's coming out. You've got the Academic Engagement Drug Policy Alliance saying that pain levels from study participants always go down dramatically.
Right.
Folks report change that's extremely promising, and cannabis comes again. It's never been fatal, not chemically addictive.
And
allows you to be able to function
that you
human.
can consume it that do not require you to light something on fire.
That's right. There's honeys. There's other edibles and gummies. I use like what they call CBD high strains, so it doesn't give me a head change. I'm not like you hear me. I'm on the radio. And
right.
I'm like, yeah, man, what's up? How you doing?
Yeah, that's not.
I'm never like that, and it's because I don't get stoned. I just do what I need to do to relieve pain. I have a friend of mine who has what they call transverse myelitis, which basically means that a man who this time last year was a Taekwondo instructor, his entire body decided to revolt against him, and now at 3 o'clock in the morning, he can wake up and feel like his feet are literally on fire.
Ow.
And this man is now in a wheelchair, and a year ago he was a Taekwondo instructor. And it literally happened like that. One day he was fine. The very next day he was in a lot of pain. By the end of the week, he was flat on his back in a bed. And now he smokes medical cannabis every single day. And you know what he can do? He can sleep at night. He can eat. He can function. He can take care of his family again. He has the ability to be able to interact with his children without snapping at them, because he's living in this state, this constant hell of physical pain that literally just pops up at any place all over his body. Imagine getting the worst cramp that you ever had, but you get 6 of them at the same time and they just don't ever go away for days.
Damn.
And that's his body. His body's literally just revolted against him. And cannabis is literally the only way the man can sleep. And when you see change in people who live with pain every day like that, you can't look and go, okay, you know what? I think you just deserve to suffer or be like a heroin addict drooling on yourself in front of your children. I don't think that the law should allow you to have this thing that you can grow in your front yard, because, you know, the pharmaceutical companies can't control it. So.
Did your
the pharmaceutical companies can't. They have this thing called Marinol, where they've taken certain little parts of the cannabis thing, but then like the whole thing of, well, pharmaceuticals can't control it. Well, they can't control tomatoes either, but tomatoes have certain medicinal benefits to them.
They do.
So I think that's just sort of a conspiracy theory.
Well, no, I'm telling you, man, the medicinal, as far as like pain management and nausea, bro, do you have any idea how much good nausea medicine costs? Like $106 a pill sometimes. Like,
no, I'm not saying that pharmaceuticals aren't expensive. I'm saying the claim that the reason cannabis is illegal is because of big pharma.
Competition.
They lobby in favor of they spend lobbying money to keep cannabis illegal. So, I mean, they at least contribute, along with the sheriff's unions and the prison guard lobby unions and all
the beer companies,
the alcohol companies.
That's the one. That's the big one in New Hampshire. That's why
oil and textile companies.
That's why the live free or die state hasn't legalized or decriminalized yet, because of the amount of revenue that we make from alcohol.
Well,
selling to all the other states.
Something that they call decriminalization that passed in New Hampshire about a year ago. I say it's something they call decriminalization because it still allows for criminal penalties if you wind up getting caught with less than three quarters of an ounce 3 times. Oh, that 3rd time, yep, it's now a misdemeanor again.
Well, you still have a penalty if you get caught with it 1 time. If I have to pay a fine, then that's a criminal act. Where we're going to call it a citable.
Yeah, they call it a civil violation.
Whatever, man.
Yeah.
Did your martial arts instructor, did he try opioids before?
Yes.
He went and discovered that
he tried to avoid them.
Was he not a believer at first, and now he has seen the light?
Yeah. He came to me one day and he was like, you know what, man? You're the only person that I think that I know that when I talk to you, because I know you live in chronic pain, I know you don't take pills. I bet this is how you manage it.
From medical cannabis to medical mushrooms. Yeah, that's where we're going next. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Core and your Bitcoin Cash. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories. Well, I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Ovaltine. Give your kids the nutrition they need to be their best. Visit us at ovaltineusa.com. Telling your child about healthy food choices is important, but showing her what to eat goes a lot further. Have her help create the grocery list, then bring her to the store with you. Picking out healthy foods together helps kids get in the habit of thinking about what they're eating every day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Might have to hang up this. Oh, you're on the phone with your Skype or with Facebook.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl.
And Conan.
And Will.
And cryptocurrencies are hot right now because crypto is where it's at because it's good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarist who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and they're creating a secure platform for money and messaging that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization, and they recently announced they have over 7,500 secure nodes, which makes Zencash one of the strongest blockchains. Their wallets are available in multiple languages and on multiple platforms. We're talking Linux, Mac, Android, and Windows devices. And they're available on at least 6 exchanges. I believe they're now on 7 with more to come soon. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. We'll get into the story about legal mushrooms, maybe, in Denver. But first, to the phones where we've got Caleb calling in from Chattanooga, listening to us on WGOW. Caleb, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, guys. How are you doing tonight?
Doing well. What's on your mind?
Well, I used to smoke a lot of weed, like a lot of weed every day. Yeah, all day, every day. I mean, the only reason I quit 3 months ago was so I can get a higher paying job. It's kind of hard to break out of the restaurant business, you know. But my point being is, when I used to smoke a lot of weed, the only main difference I've noticed since I've been without weed for 3 months now is I have dreams. Like literally, when I go to sleep, I have very vivid dreams, and for better or for worse, I do have those dreams. But
so, what's one of the better dreams that you've had recently?
No. Don't describe dreams. Not on the radio.
Oh, no. Yeah, I'm not going to go down that road, but yeah.
No, I'm just curious. Like, do you dream about flying? Do you?
He can remember them again.
A lot of times well, I do have
remember
good dreams,
them again.
but
Ha, ha.
I don't really have bad dreams. But I do have a lot of tedious dreams. Like I go to sleep, but I end up having to do chores, and I'm still at work. And it's like
I
I'm not
hate
really
dreaming
getting a
about
rest.
work. So, what'd you actually call about, Caleb?
Well, I've called about fasting. I started fasting here recently. I've looked into it. It's age-old wisdom, and modern-day science is showing the health benefits of fasting. There's different types of fast, but as for me right now, I've been going over 2 days without any food. No, the only thing I've been consuming is water with sometimes lemon juice in it. And I'll do a shot of raw apple cider vinegar, like in the morning or at night.
All right.
And are you still working during the day? What is your activities during the day?
Right now, I just drive around.
So you're not consuming a lot of energy.
Well, I'm not consuming a lot of calories, but I do drink black coffee. I'll have a cup of black coffee in the morning, but the strange thing is I don't feel drained of energy. Sometimes I do kind of feel a little bit of an emptiness in my stomach, but it's
you need a
not
good sativa.
Like I'm dying.
So
yeah, I know, man.
All right. So
question. I wish I could smoke it.
Question for you, Caleb. How long are you planning to try going without food?
Well, I'm just doing a 3-day fast right now. That's my first time fasting.
Okay.
But then I'm going to go back eating healthy. I do eat healthy otherwise.
Now, what kind of a fast are you doing? Are you going to do, because there are different ways of fasting. There's one fasting where you don't eat or drink anything from sunup to sundown, and then you eat, but you need to do it responsibly. At sundown, you eat a small meal, have a little milk, maybe something like that. Then there's the where you only ingest liquids, so you can drink juices or you can drink liquids, and you have no food for a few days.
Yeah, he said he's just doing water with lemon and some coffee. So he's doing basically no calories.
Cut the coffee out. What the coffee is going to do is, because it does this to me at least, sometimes it's going to raise your heart rate, which is going to actually heighten your caloric into like the amount of calories you're burning, and it's going to make your fasting harder for you, because the caffeine in the coffee is actually going to cause you to burn extra calories you wouldn't burn otherwise, and it's going to give you the trots more than likely.
I haven't had any bad experience. I'm going over 2 days now. I mean, I'll have just a cup of black coffee in the morning, and I just drink water throughout the day. I'll drink about a gallon of water throughout the day, and sometimes I'll mix some lemon juice in it. But I have drinking a little bit of chicken broth here, like just.
And all right, so now, and how are you feeling? So it's been 2 days. What is your response? Is it good?
I feel pretty good, man. Yeah. I mean, the crazy thing is, like, I haven't had any alcohol. I normally, drink, about 2 beers when I get off work. But
and you said that you found some health benefits, so that's why you decided to try this. So what are the health benefits that you're hoping to wind up having once you finish this 3-day fast?
Well, so far I've already noticed some of the health benefits. I feel like my vision has gotten better. Things seem clearer, and anti-inflammatory and antibacterial and fungal. Like my athlete's foot, like it's starting to get better. It's one thing.
Okay.
And my scalp, I've got dry scalp, and then I've had bad dandruff for a while, and I already feel my scalp getting better.
I don't think I've ever, and Caleb, thank you for the call. I don't think I've ever heard anybody claim that fasting will cure athlete's foot or get rid of dandruff.
Well, I mean, there are. I've always heard it because we're being Muslim. Muslims love to share articles during Ramadan about, doctors say fasting is healthy. See, like that whole thing. And, I know there are lots, lower blood pressure, decreased blood sugar, more sensitivity to insulin. It's supposed to be good for your heart. Actually, it's supposed to, like I said, if it lowers your blood pressure, that's good for your heart. I have terrible blood pressure. It supposedly is supposed to slow aging. It increases resistance to oxidative stress.
I have no clue what oxidative stress is, but none of those things cures athlete's foot.
It's free radical related damage. So, like, basically, it's good to keep you from getting cancer, supposedly.
And yeah, I'm not sure that free radicals actually exist. I have no proof that they do. I have no proof that they don't. But the people that say that they exist also have no proof that they actually
supports
exist.
Healthier collagen and skin.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNtelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNtelecare.com. Virtual care anywhere.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original and most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
A Rasmussen poll reveals that nearly all American voters share a deep fear of botching another election, with most voters admitting that selecting candidates for public office is something they're historically just not particularly good at.
I really hope I don't completely fuck things up as usual, but you never know. Things do happen.
According to the poll, 3/4 of voters said Election Day panic would cause them to base their vote entirely on hearsay, while 93% acknowledged that they only recognized names of local candidates from signs along state highways. In Cedar Rapids, Iowa, stunned friends and acquaintances expressed shock and disbelief when a body found in the woods turned out not to be Justin. Local residents found the naked corpse draped over a tree stump Saturday, and as news spread, many found themselves struggling to comprehend how it wasn't Justin lying dead in the forest.
I heard the news, and I still can't come around to it. I just can't imagine that it's not Justin there lying dead in the woods. Are they absolutely sure it's not him?
Friends and family are still urging authorities to double-check the body, or at the very least, bring in Justin as a suspect.
This is the Onion News Network.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl.
And Conan.
And Will.
And voters in Denver possibly wind up being able to vote on legalizing magic mushrooms. The story here from Colorado Public Radio. They say after a few rousing chants of free the spores, a small group of roughly 20 filtered into the Denver City and County building on Monday for a meeting with city officials and emerged knowing that they may soon have the all clear to gather signatures on a measure to decriminalize psychedelic mushrooms. The group called Colorado for Psilocybin, after the scientific name for the fungus. Their proposed measure would do away with felony charges for people caught with mushrooms and make them the lowest enforcement priority for Denver police. Anyone caught with more than 2 ounces of dried mushrooms or 2 pounds of uncured wet mushrooms would be subject to a citation, less than $99 for the first offense, increased by increments of $100 for subsequent offenses, and never more than $999 per citation.
Better than a felony.
And again, this only applies to more than 2 ounces, which makes it sound as though less than 2 ounces, there would be no criminal penalties.
And what was the wet batch, 2 pounds?
2 pounds of what's referred to as wet mushrooms.
That's undried.
Yeah, and that's not a lot of mushrooms.
No.
2 pounds?
No.
Wet? No, not really.
No.
I know nothing about mushrooms other than
I mean it's don't get me
I
wrong.
know people can get high off of them, and there are some tests showing that psilocybin does have some medicinal benefits, but as far as like how much, what does 2 pounds of mushrooms look like? I don't know.
I think it's funny that me and you are the ones that know all this stuff.
Well, no, not about weed. I don't follow the weed.
Right.
But the mushrooms, I'm all right with. Good stuff.
So, all right, try to explain for people that are listening that might also probably not know. Like, so 2 pounds of uncured mushrooms, would that turn into 2 ounces once dried? Like, is it kind of like beef jerky to where, you need, say, 4 ounces of meat to make an ounce and a half of beef jerky?
2 ounces of dried mushrooms is a pretty substantial amount.
Yeah.
All right.
But I have never been scientific about it. It's always just been here, throw them in the cheap old dehydrator.
Yeah.
Shrink them on down and put them in Ziplocs and they go in the freezer.
Yeah, because I know 2 pounds of bananas, that's a sizable amount of bananas.
Yeah.
So, 2 pounds
of dried mushrooms is a pretty good amount. And it's not as much as I don't think 2 pounds of wet mushrooms is going to give you 2 ounces of dry. No.
Not going to give you that much? Or
no way.
Okay.
2 pounds of wet?
I can see the wills in Will's head turning.
More like maybe an ounce.
Let me see if there's a calculator online or something.
So the
For wet mushrooms to dry.
the article here
it's going to depend on the
continues.
kind.
The article continues. Tyler Williams, one of the leaders of the psilocybin decriminalization initiative, said the marijuana legalization effort of yesteryear did provide a helpful roadmap when constructing the initiative. He is a believer as well. He's a co-founder of the Denver chapter of the Psychedelic Club at the University of Colorado in Boulder. He says, quote, "I'm a big believer in cognitive liberty, and so whatever people decide to consume, I think it's up to them. I think people should be informed about what they're consuming, and they shouldn't have to be afraid of going to jail because of it." He added that he feels psilocybin offers mental health and spiritual and intellectual benefits. During the group's meeting with city officials, Williams pointed to examples of changing tides in the drug policy elsewhere. A 2005 appeals court decision in New Mexico effectively legalized the cultivation of psilocybin last year.
So yeah, anyways, there's a nice calculator here. 2.5 ounces to 3 ounces do represent 1 pound of wet. So 2 pounds would equal about 6 ounces of dry.
Continuing.
Really?
According to cookinfo.com. We're talking about just regular old buy off the yeah, exactly.
Continuing on. Oh, and the last year was for the next sentence, not the
No blue
2005. I have no clue what you're talking about now. 2005 appeals court decision in New Mexico effectively legalized the cultivation of psilocybin there. Last year, Oregon reduced possession charges for many drugs from a felony to a misdemeanor, and Colorado voters approved a similar measure in 2014. Another state may beat Colorado to the ballot. Californians may vote on a similar measure later this year. Again, that measure to legalize psilocybin. Kevin Matthews, who led the campaign and helped draft the initiative, says now is the right time for Denver to decriminalize based on recent studies on the possible medicinal applications of psychedelics. He says, "I'm proud to say that psilocybin has had a pretty massive impact on my life. I struggled with depression for years, and I was diagnosed with major depression as a teenager." He says he and other advocates want people to use psilocybin responsibly so that they can have the best experience with it. More on this article about Denver possibly maybe getting to vote to legalize magic mushrooms. But first, to the phone where we've got Sarah calling in from New Mexico. Your calls and thoughts welcome, 855-450-FREE. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes, you know the galactose molecule, the sugar.
I only know of it because you've called in about it, I think, at least 3 of the last 4 nights.
Well, it's part of the network marketing, by the way. So
yep,
anyway,
you do network marketing where you sell some kind of thing that has a galactose molecule, and you've watched some videos, and you have some thoughts.
So it's supposed to, one of the things that it does, it's supposed to help prevent and cure cancer. So,
Note for listeners that statement has not been approved by the Food and Drug Administration. We are not medical professionals. We are not giving medical advice. Sarah has watched some YouTube videos and some DVDs from a multi-level marketing organization. Continue with your thoughts, Sarah.
Well, that's okay. And so, my hypothesis is, I have not talked to their doctors to get an exact explanation, but my guesstimation, the way that I think that it works is that it helps the killer cells, the white killer cells, to distinguish and to recognize a cancer cell. So they could clearly, with this help of the galactose molecule, it could distinguish a healthy cell and a defective cell very clearly.
So are you on psilocybin right now?
What?
Magic mushrooms. Have you ever taken magic mushrooms, Sarah?
No, I never do those things.
How about weed? Do you ever smoke weed?
No, I never did.
You never did? Not ever? Not even that one time that you thought nobody was looking?
Come on. She's eat a few blue ringers.
Maybe one time I took a toke, but I was not excited about it.
One time you took it. Did you inhale? Because Bill Clinton didn't inhale.
So where do you get where do you get this galactose molecule? How do you harvest it?
I mean glucose?
Yeah. No, galactose is the word she said. Yeah, Sarah, thank you for the call. It comes from some multi-level marketing thing. So you just need to get 3 of your friends to get 3 of their friends, and then you get on the auto ship program, and then you're going to be platinum diamond, and you'll be living it up large.
I know this great guy, Bernie Madoff. He can get you some money.
855-450 free. That's
Is he still around?
855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Cash. It's perfect for beginners, and the Bitcoin.com wallet makes using and holding Bitcoins easy. No logins are required. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com.
Over the last 4 years, 3 of the biggest online precious metals dealers have gone bankrupt and their owners put in prison due to theft and fraud. Having previously purchased precious metals, can you be sure you purchased the right product? Did you receive proper advice? Or were you stung by one of these companies? Miles Franklin has been in business for 29 years without receiving any material customer or regulatory complaints ever. Maintaining an A+ Better Business Bureau rating and residing in Minnesota, the only state in America that regulates the precious metals industry, making doing business in precious metals with Miles Franklin the safest choice, bar none. Call us at 866-485-4346 and let us review your portfolio at no commitment whatsoever. Again, that's 866-485-4346. Get the peace of mind you deserve in working with the precious metals company with a reputation like Miles Franklin. Again, that's 866-485-4346. Miles Franklin Precious Metals, the name you can trust.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do you think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Possibly time for you and your thoughts if you call in right now. Again, 855-450-FREE. In studio tonight, it's Darryl.
And Conan.
And Will.
And this November, I'm going to be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City
Oh, it's
Marathon.
not in Texas? You said the biggest and the baddest and the
biggest
not
and
in
most
Texas.
popular is the New York City Marathon.
Okay.
I've accepted a spot on Team Innocence Project because I'm a passionate supporter of their work. Since they were founded in 1992, they've helped 200 people get exonerated for crimes they did not commit using DNA testing. 20 of those had served time on death row. The Innocence Project provided direct support, again, for over 200 people that have been exonerated. With your help, the Innocence Project can help even more people who have been wrongly convicted. As part of Team Innocence Project, I'm raising awareness about wrongful convictions and raising funds to help free the innocent. I've already paid the race registration fees. However, to secure my spot on Team Innocence Project in the New York City Marathon, I need to raise $3,500 by November. You can support Team Innocence Project, support the Innocence Project, and help me secure my race entry by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com. So jumping back into the article from the Colorado Public Radio about the possible ballot measure to wind up having Denver remove penalties for up to 2 ounces of dried mushrooms and then lower the penalties for anything over 2 ounces and to make it the lowest enforcement priority for Denver police. Again, the group Colorado for Psilocybin had a meeting with the Denver mayor and other officials earlier this week. And the story says they should find out soon whether or not they can begin gathering signatures on the petition. And then if they get enough signatures, then it will be on the ballot.
Wait, they have to get permission first to actually start a petition in this particular municipality?
That's how things work in places that actually have actual initiative and referendum.
Gotcha.
You have to get permission to gather, because you've got to make sure that the wording is correct and we're amending section this. So unlike the limited thing that they don't actually call initiative here in New Hampshire, where you can make petitions for local changes,
then
they just tell you, oh yeah, that's not allowed.
Afterwards. That's not legal. Sorry you went and got 25 signatures. That's not legal. It's not going to work. It's not going to hold water.
In states that actually have real initiative and referendum, you go run the wording by the legal team first, and then you go collect the signatures. Again, there's a drive in California to get something similar on the ballot there. The article continues with a quote from one of the people behind the group, where Mr. Matthews says he and other advocates want people to use psilocybin responsibly so that they can have the best experience with it. He says, it's helped me tremendously with my own mental health, and on top of that, with creativity and really being able to just explore different aspects of myself and really get some healing from the inside out. He points to a study by Johns Hopkins University that found psilocybin users dealing with cancer-related stress reported lasting positive effects 1 year later. A study by New York University produced similar results. Another study conducted at London's Imperial College last year found that it could help treat stubborn cases of depression. That's why Michelle Ross joined the campaign to support the initiative. She's a neuroscientist and the director of Impact Network, a nonprofit focused on medical marijuana and women's health. She said we could apply lessons from cannabis legalization and apply them to the psilocybin legalization. There's no reason that both should not be legalized because psilocybin, or magic mushrooms, are just as safe as cannabis. She also says she uses psilocybin as well as cannabis to treat her depression and PTSD. She said, I use many different natural substances, but psilocybin is one that helps me overcome depression in a way that cannabis hasn't. The meeting on Monday was a public hearing to hash out the phrasing and other questions about the initiative, such as enforcement. The next step will be to submit petition material for review to the Denver Elections Division. If and when the body gives final approval, the pro-mushroom advocates can begin gathering signatures to get the initiative on the ballot this fall. Now, the article does not say how many valid petitions they need or what the verification process is for those petitions, but I know in some places they'll take any excuse they can to throw a name off as invalid. Oh, Will, your signature here says Will Coley, but the voter registration form that you filled out said William.
Yeah.
And it used a middle initial, and you didn't use that here. So sorry, this one is stricken out. And then other places, I know Pennsylvania will do this to where you can collect a bunch of different names on the same form. Sorry, Conan, you forgot to put the date that you signed, even though the person above you and the person below you used the same exact date. They both signed it on March 3rd. You didn't put the date. You didn't put the date, so your signature is invalid. Oh, Darryl, you put your mailing address instead of the voter registration domicile address invalid. And then they use every excuse they can to strike these things off.
Rules are rules, Darryl. You should have known better before you went and got them signatures. Didn't you read the rule book?
But the thing is, the thousands of people that are signing,
I know,
they've not read the rule book, and most of them probably don't even realize, oh, right, I'm on the voter registration as William Coley. I'm on the voter registration, with my middle initial or not my middle initial or whatever. Oh, I forgot to put street at the end of the street.
Well, I hope it goes forward. I think it's sad, and as is the case with medicinal cannabis, that people have to make that argument that, hey, look, by the way, it hasn't killed anybody, it's not hurting anybody. Oh, and it's good for you. And
how many people die from tobacco and alcohol?
The argument should be, hey, mind your own damn business. I'm not hurting anybody. This isn't hurting me. But it wouldn't even matter if it was, because it's me. It's my own body. Leave me alone.
Right, but see, here's the difference. The politicians don't use psilocybin as a recreational thing. They use Mad Dog 2020. They use cognac. They use Marlboro.
Correct, and they get the tax revenue from that cognac. But but they haven't figured out a way to tax the psilocybin yet, and maybe when they do, they'll be all good to go with it. And it's the same thing that's happening with marijuana here in this state. Is not only do you have the competition from the alcohol that they don't want to lose.
Right, because New Hampshire is one of those states where the state has a monopoly on the distribution of liquor.
And we are surrounded by states who have overpriced their liquor, and so they're coming from all of New England to New Hampshire. We had the liquor outlets right there on the border.
Did you see, and mentioning people coming from all over New England, did you see the report about the liquor stores supposedly being involved in money laundering because they're selling large amounts of liquor to people without asking, what do you plan on doing with this?
Yeah, it's been going on for years. And now you've got this one executive counselor who's come out, and a lot of people think that it's a stunt. It's a political stunt.
The executive council, for people not in New Hampshire, it's a 5-headed lieutenant governor.
Yeah, he's all about it. I think it's a stunt because this has been going on forever, and I see it all the time.
Of course, it's a stunt.
You'll have a white van New York plates, pull up at the place. There'll be 5 people in there, and every one of them will buy $9,000 worth of liquor. They'll fill the entire vehicle up, and if they still have room, they'll go hit up another store before they go back to whatever they're doing with it.
But of course it's a stunt. The guy is considering running for governor.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's what it's all about.
Surprise, surprise, a politician is making some kind of moral stand when he's thinking of running for higher office.
But my thing is that it's sad to me that we have to make the argument that either it has medicinal uses or it's a revenue source. Because that's the only way we can get, and it should be, no, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
That should be the answer.
Well, I was just looking, psilocybin is just like, marijuana has 0 deaths, and psilocybin has like 4 recorded deaths ever.
This is Free Talk Live. We're out of time for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, but we are always online at freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.